Hi everybody, it's Tatiana, and today I'm coming to do the Creatures of the Night tag. I was tagged in this in October by Troy over at Troy Tower. I will put the link to his channel in the description box below. If you have not checked him out, please go do so. He's awesome. He is my YouTube sunshine. I love him to bits. So check him out if you are not familiar with his channel. He tagged me in this. We both are adorers of Buffy, and so yeah, let's get started with the tag. He did, like I said, I was tagged in October. However, I was out of town and I didn't have the books with me, and I don't have the ability to do picture-in-picture because Movie Maker doesn't do that. So I wanted to wait until I got home and I could do the video and have the books in hand. So here we go. First, we have vampires, and it would come as no surprise if you're subscribed to my channel. For that, I selected Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is volume 8. Yes, of season 8. If you have not seen any of my talk about this graphic novel series, just know that I thoroughly enjoyed it. This was this season of it was let's see what will happen or what we can do with this as a graphic novel. But if you're not familiar with Buffy, get from under your rock, go to Netflix and just watch it. Love Buffy. This one is Last Gleaming, and yeah, I just love this series. I have loved it since I snuck into the movie theater to see the first one starring Christy Swanson and Luke Perry. Yeah, absolutely love it. Next is Werewolves, and for that I selected the Mortal Instruments series. I only have City of Bones in my possession, however, and the werewolf does not make an appearance in this one yet, but it is later on in the series. This is a series about a young girl who finds out that she can see supernatural beings, and she is the daughter of a shadow hunter and a shadow hunter herself. And yeah, I really enjoyed this. I didn't like some of the angst in it, but you know, you take the bitter with the sweet. Next is zombies, and I'm not even going to bullshit you. Zombies freak me out. Period. I don't like zombies. The only zombie movies that I watched probably up until 2003 or 2004 was Thriller. I don't like zombies at all. The after Thriller is Resident Evil. And the only reason why I really like Resident Evil is because I love Mila Jovovich and she kicks ass in that movie. So the zombies are like the little side dish that you just can't get rid of, so you push it off to the side of your plate a little bit. But yeah, zombies freak me the hell out. So the only book that I have, I think, that features zombies that I could think of right away is Shadow Shaper by Daniel Jose Older. Thoroughly enjoyed this book. Review, finger in. Link somewhere up here or down below. Thoroughly enjoyed this book. This was my first read by Daniel Jose Older, and the first of many to come because he has a few other books that I want to check out as well. But this is the story of a teenager who is the summer before her senior year, and she plans to have all of this kind of fun, and then murals that have been painted start crying real tears, and a zombie comes looking for her and crashes a summer party looking for her, trying to kill her, and it's more than one zombie, and they freaky as hell. But I really enjoyed this book, and my books got all out of order somehow. But next is Ghost, and for that I selected Joplin's Ghost by Tananarive Due. I love this story. I love this story. It is the story of a woman named Phoenix who is haunted by the ghost of Scott Joplin, and she's attempting to help him find some resolution, as well as find some resolution of her own. And just the stories, the two lives come together, and it's just great. And I don't want to say too much without spoiling the story. If you've never read anything by Tananarive Due, I honestly would suggest starting with this book. This book is a little easier to read than the Between the Good House or some of the books in her African Immortals series. She has a series that she has co-written with her husband Stephen Barnes, which I have not read yet. It's on my TBR list. But if you are looking to experience Tananarive Due as a solo author, I would highly, highly recommend starting here. It is a ghost story. It is historical fiction. It is just awesome. Then we have Witches and Warlocks. And for that, I chose The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Can you see this little book? Can you see it? There it is. I really, really enjoyed this story. This is the story of Kvothe and him telling his childhood and maturation as he becomes a wizard, so to speak. And I wanted to pick something that was different because I almost pulled out Harry Potter. And I said, no, don't do that. Pick something a little different. And so we're going to go with The Name of the Wind. I do have a review of this. I will link it here or here. Check it out. Next is fairy / fae, and I don't have any fairy or fae novels other than the Sookie Stackhouse series. And this is the last book in the Sookie Stackhouse series. This is the only book in the series that I own, and I actually regret purchasing it. This is not the way to end a series that I thoroughly enjoyed. If you are interested in reading the series, the first books are great. It starts to get a little old, maybe 2 to 3 books before the end, but I really enjoyed the first at least 5 books with no problem, no issue whatsoever. But yeah, if you like True Blood, the TV series deviates from the novels pretty early on in the story. While some of the things do coincide, there are a lot of things that are missing, a lot of character roles that have switched and changed, a lot of people that stay alive when they're dead in the book. So if you have watched True Blood and you are interested in reading it, or if you haven't watched True Blood but you are interested in the series, I would certainly suggest checking it out. I really enjoyed the series. I just hated the last book. Next is Demon, and for that we have, surprise, surprise, another Buffy book. This is Resurrecting Ravonna, and this takes place during, I believe, the high school years of the Scooby Gang in Sunnydale, and it's midterms that are approaching, and something's going wrong. People are just getting jacked up and mutilated, and they believe that somebody is trying to resurrect and bring back to life this demon, Ravonna, and it is the Scooby Gang led by Buffy trying to figure out who's doing what, and everybody has their little role. Willow's doing her magic, and Oz is his werewolf, stoic, awesome self, and this just great. I think this is the first novel that I purchased for the Buffy the Vampire Slayer franchise, and these books are not written based on the TV show. It's another set of writers who got permission from Joss Whedon to use his iconic character and the likeness of the actors or something like that. And yeah, so if you have watched the series, this book is not going to be exactly the same, but the banter is the same, so you feel like you're reading the show, and that makes it even more enjoyable. After Demon, we have Angel, and I don't have a lot of Angel stories, and I don't have any of the Angel novels or graphic novels from Buffy the Vampire Slayer series spinoff. So we have Fallen by Lauren Kate, which I do believe I have a review of, or I have a wrap-up of it. If I have a review, it'll be linked up here or down there. But this is the first story in a series about angels and their wars, and some of the angels are good, some of the angels are bad, and it's really enjoyable for the first 2 books. I did not enjoy the 3rd, and I didn't even read the 4th. If you are looking for another type of, now I wouldn't say don't read it, at least the 1st and 2nd. I really enjoyed those 2, and really the story could have stopped there. It's something about quads and trilogies in the YA verse that it just has to be done. But if you are looking for another angel story that's really good and enjoyable, and I loved all 3 books of the story of the series, then I would suggest the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series trilogy by Laini Taylor. All 3 of those are awesome. They're just great. So yeah, I would check that out if you're interested in that, and those that has angels that are good and bad and boring and just awesome. Yeah. So, but this is the one I own. For Alien, Troy and I are going to be twins, and I'm going to choose Dawn, which is the first book in the Lilith Brood trilogy, and that is the story of Lilith, who is saved by the Oankali alien race and taken into a spaceship where she is put in a kind of stasis for years until they are ready to send the human race back to Earth, which has been destroyed by the human race. And what the aliens have been doing is working on rebuilding the Earth and letting all of the deterioration that humanity has caused kind of go away and fade off, so that it can eventually be inhabited again. And Dawn is really the relationship between Lilith and the Oankali aliens, and coming into contact with them and learning about them and what this whole thing means for her as well as for humanity, and what her role is going to be in this restructuring of the human race. Next we have superheroes, and for that I chose The Warded Man by Peter V. Brett. This was my first read by Peter V. Brett, and I read this before I started BookTube. This introduced me to a brand new kind of fantasy author, and I absolutely loved it. And it follows the story of Arlen as he begins as a young boy, and the time and place where he lives, there are these demons that come out at night, come up from the ground. They're called corlings, and basically they come to eat the humans and whatever else is living out there that they can get their claws and teeth and hands on. And Arlen comes into contact with them in a devastating way and begins his journey into manhood and defending himself, and really creates his own kind of superpower through knowledge that he gains along the way. And I think that's like the best kind of superhero. It's kind of like the anti-superhero. I'm a big Batman and Wolverine fan, which they just badasses who shouldn't be heroes, but they rock. Lastly is robots, and I've only read one book that features a robot that I could think of right off the top of my head, and I don't happen to own it, and that is Locked In by John Scalzi, which takes place in the not so distant future, where a disease that's kind of like the flu but not the flu, called Hayden's, has run rampant in the world. And there are some who contract the disease and die. There are others who contract the disease and still continue to live a normal life, so to speak. And then there are those who contract the disease and become locked in, where they're alive but they're not able to do anything with their body. Their bodily functions shut down. They cannot move, they cannot communicate. And for those who have become locked in, they can project their consciousness into android robots, and that's how many of them lead their lives. And I do have a review of that. It'll be here or below. Check it out if you're interested in reading it. That is it for this tag. I'm not going to tag anybody because the people that I would tag have either already done it or don't really read a lot of weird novels that I have seen so far, or their weird novels are not on the supernatural side. How about that? Yeah, because they read weird stuff too, but it's not on the supernatural side. They read stuff about real people who are weird. Woo! So yeah, that's all that I have for today, and I hope you all have a good weekend whenever you see this video. Thanks for watching, and peace out.